Hey everyone, it's Lily with Cherry Tree Beads. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a basic beaded elastic bracelet. This is a perfect project if you're a beginner at beading. What you're going to need for this project is going to be some elastic cord, some crimp tubes or crimp covers. That's going to be to finish off your project. We've got two tools that we're using here. Some scissors to cut your elastic, and then a crimping tool when we're finishing off our bracelet. And then you're gonna need some beads. You have creative freedom when you're making elastic bracelets, so you can use whatever beads you want. You can attach tassels or charms to the bracelets or add spacers. Really just go crazy. I like to use our Set A and Set B gemstone beads when I'm making elastic bracelets. They're perfect for that kind of project. Check out our website at cherrytreebeads.com and you can find those under the gemstone bead category. Set A are going to be smooth cut gemstones. They're approximately 8 inches long and they're going to come in a variety of gems in different shapes. And then Set B are going to be faceted gemstones. Same variety, bunch of different shapes. All about 8 inches. So for our elastic cord, the first thing you're going to need to do is prep it. Our elastic cord comes in 2 different spool sizes, so you can get 24 feet of it or 42 meters. It's all going to be a diameter of 0.8 millimeters. What that means is it's going to go through almost all standard sized beads. Standard is going to be about 1 millimeter hole size. That's not going to apply with pearls or some of our really tiny gemstones. Typically the 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter gemstones are going to have a smaller hole, so this elastic won't go through those. But standard hole size, like I said, is about 1 millimeter, so it'll fit through all of those. Prepping your elastic means stretching it out really good. Our elastic is super durable, so you can give it a bunch of tugs here. And this is going to help your bracelets from stretching out over time with wear and tear. You don't want to have a pretty bracelet and then have it get too big on your wrist. Don't be afraid to really yank this elastic. I've got 2 pre-strung bracelets here. You can see this one is about 6 inches. This one is a touch longer. I've measured these 2 bracelets out to fit my wrist size. If you're making bracelets for other people or to sell, you're going to want to keep in mind standard bracelet size. For women, that's going to be about 6.5 inches to about 7.5. Standard would be 7. For men's bracelets, you can go from a 7.5 up to about a 9 inch, and standard is going to be 8 inches. That's where these strands are so great because it's already got approximately 8 inches of beads. This bracelet here with the 10 millimeter faceted ocean jasper is a little bit longer than our smaller beads. With a larger beaded bracelet, it's going to fit a bit snugger, so you're going to need to have an extra bead on there to take in that account. And we've pre-stretched this elastic already, and as you can see, it's attached to the spool still. I like to do that because it helps you with saving some elastic. You're not going to have as much waste as if you just cut random pieces. So I know exactly how much I needed here. And when you're making a bracelet for yourself, it's great because you can test out the size before you tie your knots and cut your elastic. So just slide it onto your wrist, and pull that elastic and see how it's fitting. It's personal preference with fit. I like my bracelets to lay right about there, but if you want it to be tighter, you can take a bead off. If you need it looser, just add some beads on. This one is perfect size for me, so I'm going to start by tying a square knot on this one. Tying a square knot is one of 2 ways you can finish off an elastic bracelet. You start by putting the right string over the left, pull it through there, and then yank that elastic tight. Our elastic is great and it's not going to snap on you. Your beads won't go flying across the room. Then you're going to take the left side, put it over the right, and tie again. If you want a little extra security, you can tie an additional knot, or you can put a little bit of super glue or bead glue on the end of that knot to keep it secure. Then you're going to just cut those tail ends off, making sure you don't cut too close to the knot. And that bracelet is done. The second way you can finish off a bracelet is by using a crimp tube. When I'm doing that, I need 2 open ends on the elastic, so this one is not attached to the spool. I'm going to take my crimp tube. These ones are specifically for use with the elastic cord. They're going to be a tiny bit longer than a standard crimp tube, which you would use with beading wire. So I'm going to take the left-hand side of my elastic and put it through that crimp. And then take the right-hand side and put it through the opposite way. It's going to be a little snug in there, but it's going to come out the other end. And then you're just going to pull both sides of that elastic so the crimp tube ends up flush between those beads. You don't want any gaps in your bracelet. Then we're going to use our crimping tool. There are 2 different indents in this tool. The one closer to the base is going to create a U shape on your crimp tube. That's going to separate the 2 ends of elastic. That is our first step. Once that U shape is in there, we're going to use the second indent closest to the tip of your crimp tool. You're going to close that crimp up. And once that's nice and tight, you can cut off the rest of this elastic. And then we're going to use a crimp cover. This is going to create a professional finish on your bracelet. I'm just going to take my crimping tool and hug the outside of that crimp cover. And then you're going to pinch it closed. And when you're finished, it just has a really clean finish. Those are 2 different ways to finish off your elastic bracelets, and you can make these however you want, and they're great for stacking. I hope you enjoyed our video. Thanks for joining us. If you click the link below, you'll be directed to our website where you can find these supplies and so much more.